Hi everyone, welcome to a week that is themed around balance. As you may have guessed, we will be finding a balancing pose today in practice. It will be Warrior 3, but I hope beyond the physical sense of balancing, the essence of it can emulate both on your mat and off, finding a beautiful balance between ease and effort in your week and in this practice. When you are ready, we will begin in a standing posture. I hope you have a lot of fun. Let's begin here in a standing posture, either in mountain pose with palms facing forward or allowing the palms to land onto the stomach, fingers spread wide. Dialing down the eyes, beginning to inhale and exhale deeply through the nose. Starting to arrive in this space carved out here just for you and this practice. Begin feeling the expansion in the lungs as you breathe in a little deeper, a bit more smoothly. And feel the softness wash over your body as you intentionally breathe all that beautiful air out. Connecting with your deepest form of inhalations and exhalations, take a moment to ground yourself here to connect with your practice and this breath. Beginning to move, shift, and shuffle, allowing the eyelids to flutter open as we start to build into our flow. With an inhale breath, lift your heels. As you exhale, lower them down. Again, inhaling onto your tippy toes, very controlled and smoothly lowering down. Finally, inhaling to lift, exhaling to lower. And then with a deep bend into the knees, begin to place your weight into the right foot, extend the left leg behind you. Hands to your hips as you align your torso and lifted leg into one long line for this first variation of Warrior 3. With control and softness, draw the hands down to the earth, step the left foot back, lift the torso into Warrior 1. Hips shine forward, palms face inwards, deeply bending into the front knee, grounded into the back heel. With an inhale, straighten the right leg, hinge from the hips, come all the way down, pyramid pose. From pyramid pose, plant your hands onto the mat, step your feet all the way to the back plank position. Lowering the knees to the earth, activate in your core 3 rounds of our tricep lifts and lowers, as if you were going to go through a chaturanga, but instead of lowering the chest, lifting yourself back up. On that third round, allow yourself to fully release, untuck the toes, lift the chest. Breathing out, downward facing dog is where we meet. Slowly making your way to the top of the mat, coming to a forward fold, and then very slowly lifting yourself up to a stand, one vertebrae at a time. Drawing the shoulder blades down your back, beginning to inhale and exhale onto our tippy toes just like we did before. Maybe going a little slower this round, feeling a bit more lift in the body, activation into the muscles. Once you lower down for that third time, ground into your left foot, begin to send the right leg behind you, hips square, hands on your hips for that physical feeling of connection. Gazing down to the earth, trying to align leg and spine. With your next exhale, hands to the mat, stepping the right foot down, Warrior 1. With an inhale, straightening into the front leg, forward fold, come down for pyramid pose. A pose intended to stretch and acknowledge into the back side of the leg. Take deep breaths before stepping yourself back to plank position, where once again we lift and lower through 3 tricep push-ups. This modification here allows us to really engage in the core. On that third time you lower down, untuck the toes, inhale, the chest lifts, eventually exhaling to downward facing dog. Take a couple rounds of breath here to reconnect, to notice how that first variation felt. Would you like to add anything on or take anything out? Eventually making your way to the top of your mat, forward fold, and then on a long, slow, mindful journey, coming up to a stand. Once you get there, hands to your hips. Again, inhaling to lift the heels, exhaling to lower down, just as we've done before, 3 rounds all together. Engaging and activating our feet, this helps us with our balance, which of course comes next here. Grounding into the right foot, begin to send the left leg behind you, hips square down to the earth, leg and torso aligned. Remember to breathe as we hold here, looking for strength, feeling all the leg muscles working hard. Using a slow, controlled breath out, stepping back to warrior one. And then choice is yours if you stay still or flow with me here. Inhaling to lift the front leg, exhaling to lower down, arms to cactus. Either way, from stillness or movement, we take 3 big breaths. When your 3 breaths complete, straightening into the front leg, folding into pyramid pose, 3 inhales, 3 exhales. Notice the back sides of the legs. And then stepping back to plank position, knees to the earth 3 times, lifting and lowering. Keep those elbows grazed to the side body. Feel the strength in your shoulders. Keep that core active and strong. Eventually lowering to the chest, untucking the toes, shining the heart high, and then breathing out hips high, downward facing dog. Gazing through the shins. 1 big inhale as you exhale, walking to the top of your mat, forward fold. Just as we've done before, taking a long journey up, connecting with each vertebrae, shoulders and head stay heavy until the last moment. And once you are lifted and tall, begin to take 3 final rounds, lifting and lowering onto the tippy toes. Once you finish those 3, left foot stays, right leg lunges behind you for this variation of warrior 3 where we are very mindful of our hip placement. Right hip shines down. Can you lift the heel a little higher? Before lowering the foot to the mat, warrior 1. Either staying still for 3 breaths or lifting and lowering, incorporating cactus arms if that feels good in your body. Eventually coming to your pyramid pose, taking a few rounds of breath, softening into the shoulders, hinging from the hips. When you're ready to do so, hands to the earth, stepping back for our final visit to these lifting and lowering sensations, really activating into the triceps, strong upper body for 3 rounds. Eventually taking your modified vinyasa. The chest lowers all the way to the earth, untuck the toes, inhale, shine the heart high. Exhale, downward facing dog. With that flow comfortable in our body, we begin to add on here, taking some parts with us, leaving some behind. With an inhale, reaching the right foot all the way up, bending into the knee, stacking the hips. Using an inhale breath to step the right foot all the way through, coming to Crescent Lunge. Taking your modifications that you desire here. Whenever you feel ready and stable, we begin to place our weight into the right foot, lifting into warrior 3. Coming at this pose from a different way, notice how this feels in your body. Maybe the arms are fully extended here in the full expression. And then as we did before, from warrior 3, stepping into warrior 1. Hips face forward, arms are high. We'll hold still for this visit. Eventually exhaling, hands down to the earth, stepping back to plank position. You can choose to hold plank. You can do some more push-ups. You can take a vinyasa or simply meet us in downward facing dog. Eventually inhaling onto the left side, left leg lifts, knee is bent, hips are stacked. Before stepping through for Crescent Lunge on the tippy toes of the back foot, hips are forward, arms are lifted, breath is strong. Your hands come down to the ground, flying the right leg into the air, beginning to lift the torso, arms shining ahead, warrior 3. Taking any modification that feels best in your body here. Before stepping the foot back into warrior 1. Left knee is bent and forward, back leg is grounded, arms are high. Take 1 more inhale, and then exhale the hands down to the ground, step your feet back to high plank position and choose how you would like to spend 2 breaths here. Eventually we meet in downward facing dog and we do it all again. With an inhale, lifting the right leg, bend in the knees, stack open the hips, and then step the right foot through for a crescent lunge. Arms are high, maybe you stay still this round, or perhaps you flow with me, exhaling to lower the torso, inhaling to lift it up. Squeezing those shoulder blades intentionally behind you, a really strong base. The next time you lower down, perhaps you bring your hands to the mat to transfer to Warrior 3, or maybe the arms fly you into this pose. From Warrior 3, stepping back to Warrior 1, where either you stay still or lift and lower with your breath, straightening into the front leg, finding cactus arms when and how it feels good. When your 3 are complete, stepping back to a high plank, where perhaps you hold, take a vinyasa, or simply meet us right away in downward facing dog. Coming onto the left side, lift the left leg, stack the hips, step the foot through, just like we did on the right, crescent lunge. Option to stay still or to flow. Arms come behind you as the chest lowers down. It's an inhale breath that lifts you up, taking 3 rounds if you choose. And whenever you are ready, however you get there, flying your way into Warrior 3. Remembering those leg formation tips, hips are square to the ground, celebrating any time you wobble, a great chance to build strength and confidence in the body. Using an exhale breath to come to your Warrior 1, where maybe you are still or perhaps you are lifting and lowering, pairing movement with breath. And from your Warrior 1, hands to the earth, stepping back to high plank position where you can find a vinyasa, you can hold, you can do push-ups, or simply lift the hips high, meet us in down dog. Once out of down dog, we lower to tabletop and right away flow through cats and cows. Inhaling to lower the chest, squeeze the shoulder blades, exhaling to curve in the spine. Finding stillness in your tabletop, extend the right arm ahead, the left leg behind you, flex into the left foot and breathe. With an exhale, come back down to tabletop, switch sides, left arm ahead, right leg behind you, flexed into the back foot, and wide fingers on the front arm. Exhaling to your tabletop before we come to our Yogi squat Malasana. Feet are a little bit wider than the hips perhaps, elbows pressing into the knees, glutes low to the earth. From your squat, safely with control coming to your seat, hands down behind you, extend the legs out nice and long. Holding in our extended boat. Use those arms for support, shine the chest ahead, feel your core activate. Eventually exhaling, coming out of this, back to tabletop. We do it again. Right arm extends, left leg behind you. Hold and breathe. Fire up in the muscles. Exhaling to tabletop. Left arm extends, right leg behind you. Gaze low. Big inhales, big exhales. Coming back to your tabletop, transitioning right away to your Malasana squat. Releasing and opening up in the hips. You can flex and stretch into the wrists if that feels good. Option to hold longer in Malasana pose, or if you enjoyed that boat visit last time, come to it once again with me here. Maybe adding on a challenge, extending the arms as well. Notice the concentration, the balance and focus required. Take one more breath wherever you are before making your way back to tabletop, one more round through. Right arm extends, left leg behind you. Exhaling to tabletop, switching sides, really firing up in this pose, strong core, big breath. Coming to tabletop, our last visit in Malasana, or perhaps if you've been playing with balance, this would be a great chance to try on your crow pose. A simple and single visit here, choosing what feels best in your body. From wherever you've been, maybe for one more round here into a boat. Hands behind you, chest shines high, legs lift long. Strong core, big breath. One more inhale. With an exhale, release the feet and slowly lower to your back. Amazing work. We'll come through a cool down flow here, grounding into the feet. Take 3 rounds of dynamic bridge poses. Inhaling to lift the hips, exhaling to lower. Really connecting with your spine here, each vertebrae, feeling the activation in your glutes and thighs, squeezing the shoulder blades together. Once your 3 are complete, we'll draw both knees down to the right side and take 2 to 3 breaths here, feeling that release in the hips, especially on the left side. Shoulders are square to the earth. Eventually, an inhale brings you back to center, drawing the knees down to the left. Same idea, feeling a stretch that benefits your lower body. And from these twists, we find happy baby. Knees slide down the torso, shins are upright, reaching for the soles of the feet. Just a few breaths here before we move through those poses once again. Knees are bent, soles of the feet to the earth for 3 rounds, lifting and lowering in the hips. Looking for purpose, for a connection of positive sensation within you. Can you go a little bit higher on this last round as you lift, very gently and softly, releasing the back bones down to the mat before both knees draw down to the right side. When you're ready to move the knees to the other side, sway them over. With an exhale, they land, and you take a couple rounds of breath. And then finally coming back to center for happy baby. Really rooting into the tailbone, shoulders connected to the mat, feeling the stretch into the hips and hamstrings. And once that pose completes for you, option to move through it one more time, or maybe give yourself a chance for a bit of free time on your mat. If not sure what to do, if wheel is in your practice, maybe you find it like I'm demonstrating on the screen, alternating between lifting into this biggest back bend before windshield wipering the knees from right to left. If something else would better serve you here, maybe holding a bridge pose, maybe finding a twist, or coming into a deep stretch that would serve your body in practice. With a few more breaths here to freely explore and play on your mat, we start to think about Shavasana. Looking for a position where you can hold your body in stillness while allowing ease to flow through you, a softness into the breath. I invite you to make your way to that shape, to dial down the eyes, and allow these next few moments of simplicity here on your back with connection to breath. Connecting with the theme of this practice, balance, acknowledging if within your body you have found it and it feels complete here and now. If so, you will start to bring gentle movement to the body, but perhaps you acknowledge that more time is desired exactly where you are. Noting that Balance isn't something you find, it is something you create. Choosing what feels best in your body, perhaps meeting me in an upright position, drawing palms to meet in front of heart center, or laying longer on your backside. From wherever you are, thanking you for this time in practice. Namaste.